Good morning, internet people. Welcome back to our live stream. Today, I'm showing you our giant rabbits. And we've been feeding our rabbits with the carrots. If you can see how we have been feeding our rabbits. These are giant breeds of rabbits that we have here at Rico Farm. And what we are trying to do basically today is to quickly guide you how we started. We started rabbit farming because we were doing vertical farming. And since we are doing vertical farming, we noticed that the demand for rabbit manure, urine for crops is high. So that's how we started the rabbit farming business. Then we also had some bit of challenges when we were growing these crops using vertical farming in using hydroponics. So we decided that we could also set up the houses like cages for our rabbits. So our rabbits are actually in cages, which we basically use it for grooming these rabbits. They also do eat carrots a lot, which I will talk about it just in a second. So cages became a very good option. We couldn't do free range, and also one thing that we should see as an ideal for housing the rabbit is the space, ventilation, and cleanliness. And also, you've seen how we have set up the, the space for feeding. They actually feed from that space. Then, another thing that you should also notice is that if we are to ask you one interactive question, what do you currently use for housing your rabbits? Do you use wood? Do you use wire or something else? Please, viewers, I encourage you to comment in the comment section. Let us know what you use for housing your rabbits. A little more about the feeding and nutrition of our rabbits. You could see here we have the greens, the leafy plants, and I will talk about the do's and don'ts of the leafy plants. But for now, with our leafy plants, is that our rabbits basically eat collards, which are skumawiki, kali. They also eat broccoli leaves. They eat papaya or popo leaves. They also eat mango leaves because it contains a lot of fiber. They eat carrots and quite many. But we do not feed our rabbits with cabbages. It causes bloating. I'll talk about it briefly. So, and also pellets. Pellets are a little bit expensive, but you also need a water system so that they can drink. The nipple drinkers would be the best option, but for us, we still use the normal containers. And please avoid using plastic containers or avoid putting plastic containers inside rabbits. When they're hungry, rabbits can literally eat anything. I'll show you some of them, how they have been destroying the old containers. Now, if you are to feed your rabbits one thing today, what would it be? Let me know in the comment section. Or would you feed your rabbits with cabbages daily? It's a true or false question. Let's see if in the comment section if you can feed your rabbits daily with cabbages. So for us, we bought these rabbits when they were very young, and you can see they are really giant rabbits, California white and the New Zealand white. These are the rabbits we have. We have made orders for 3 more giant female rabbits just to increase on the breeding. But we're breeding these rabbits. Right now, the males are on heat, but we don't have the female rabbits. So that's the challenge at Rico Farm right now. And 2, we know when the rabbits are ready, they climb, they fight. Yeah, those are things. But let's talk about the gestation period. The gestation period for the rabbits, I think, according to what I have seen, is that these rabbits reproduce very fast. So between 28 to 30 days, the rabbits can reproduce very fast. And that's one good thing with this rabbit. And on the other end, I also wanted you to know that, if I may ask you one question, how many kids are babies, some people call it bunnies, do you think a rabbit can have in 1 litter? Like, how many kids do you think they can produce? I think the answer, we can get it in the comment section. For those of you who have been feeding rabbits and you have idea, so let's know about that in the comment section. How many kids the rabbits can have in 1 litter? Now, there's one thing that I'm also going to ask, which is quite interesting, is about how do you manage diseases and health. There are things called common issues with rabbits are diarrhea, meats heat stress. So those heat stress comes as a result when they don't have female. So that's another stress. How do you deal with it? And do you keep your cages clean? But of course, show us if you keep your cages clean. But ideally, if you look at my farm, basically, my rabbits are actually quite huge. These are giant rabbits. And we will talk about the cost a little bit later. Now, these measures to keep the diseases out of this farm before you call a vet is that you make sure that you do some bit of vaccination, hygiene, and balanced diet. We do balanced diet. I think you've seen our rabbits were actually feeding on collards or cabbages. Quite interesting for our rabbits. And we make sure that these collards, we don't feed them when they are wet. At least we make sure that before we give it to them, they a little bit summer when the molds have moved out. Okay, we don't actually give molds to any feed that contains molds. We don't give it to our rabbits. We'll give it when some are dry, so they really, really enjoy it. And also, on the other health-related thing is that let's think about one thing. What is the biggest challenge you have ever faced with rabbits when it comes to rabbit farming? So let me know in the comment section, what is the biggest challenge you have ever faced with rabbit farming? The diseases, the vaccinations, and what do you use for vaccinating your rabbits? Now, I really love rabbits. I didn't do animal husbandry, but I told you I'm doing farming, and this farming that I'm doing is vertical. So that means I grow these crops vertically, and they really need nutrients. That's why I have tried so much to bring my rabbits so that they can be here at the farm. So, and I know they've been feeding for some time. They are now getting a little bit full, and that's what happened with these giant breeds. So, on the other part is that let's talk about marketing. How do you think you can profit from rabbits? Let's talk about the potential, the profit potential in rabbit. Some of the business tips that I can give you is that ideally rabbits have white meat, and white meat is quite good. They are fur. You can profit from fur. You can also profit from manure, breeding stock. So let's see. Do you think within your locality, if you walk to a restaurant, you can get rabbit meat? Or do you think your neighbors can buy from you? If your neighbors can buy from you, there's a nearby rabbit restaurant, then we are actually changing the potential of how we can get nutrients, proteins from the rabbits. We can, of course, chicken, poultry farming, it's quite common. People eat it. If you go to any restaurant, it's easier to get those kind of, I would call it kind of protein. But we also want to introduce rabbit. Rabbit meat tastes really good, and that's one thing that we really enjoy. Then a quick question to our viewers. Let's get the answer in the comment section. Would you raise rabbit for home consumption or for business? Would you raise your rabbit for home consumption or for business? Let's know that answer in the comment section, if you would raise your rabbit for home consumption or for business. And if you're going to raise it for business, Uh, are you going to sell rabbits when it's processed or unprocessed? Processed means you can cook it, have a little more of rabbit steak that people can eat in a small restaurant. But if you have about 6,000 rabbits, then you can be able to do that. Let's have some bit of a key takeaway, especially in what we have been discussing about rabbit farming. These giant rabbits, the housings, would you do free range or you would do cages? I think cages are really very good. You can take records. You could know when, have data about your rabbits and how they are feeding. And then also the breeding, you can also do inbreeding, which helps you to get reproduce them very fast. The health would be very good because it's in a controlled cage. That means uh, things like diarrhea, things like quite a number of things we have talked about. Apart from diarrhea, we have talked about meats, heat stress. Those are common issues with rabbits, but rabbits rarely fall sick, and even the vaccination is quite a little bit a long thing with rabbit. So let's have a deep dive into the breeding bit of it. We talked about the gestation period is 28 to 30 days. Rabbits produce very fast, and if you're doing rabbit for business, that means within 5 months, 5 to 6 months, you should be able to sell your rabbit. So in a year, ideally, you could, if you have rabbits that are producing every month, that means you can have sales up to 12 times in a year. And also, I encourage you people to keep joining our live stream. Please subscribe to our channel. I kindly invite you to subscribe to our channel. Next time, we are going to have a deep dive into rabbit breeding. Please follow us, subscribe, join our WhatsApp group, and drop a question before exiting this so that we get to know what you want us to do. And of course, for those people who are really interested in giveaways and shout outs, I will mention your active commenter if you're one of us who always comment actively in our channel. But most importantly, please, I encourage you to do share, subscribe, follow. Let's grow this channel, and please watch this video to the end. We expect you to have better harvest in terms of the crops. So this is our rabbit cages that we wanted to show you a bit. We have some bit of the feeds, the ropes which are used for bringing the feeds. We have this giant male rabbit here. That's the giant one. We also have the feeds here and quite a bigger space here that I can show it to you. I think from the farm today, that's all you have from our farm. And we expect you to always try as much as possible to first keep the feed somewhere so that they dry. Do not give the feed directly to the rabbits from the garden, because it will cause a little bit of more of bloating and they will die. We don't want to experience that. And we don't want to see that worst scenario happening to you or at your farm. So they have eaten so well. This is something that has remained. That means they can come back and eat a little bit later. But you all know very well that rabbits don't leave anything. They would eat until they finish. Thank you for liking the video, and please subscribe, and let's grow this channel and also encourage people to continue rabbit farming and also have an alternative source of income. It's very profitable business, but people have not yet discovered. Do it now, don't do it when it's too late, and make sure that a lot of people are following you. Encourage them to subscribe to your channel, and please, you can see how these giant rabbits look like. We're actually doing so well, but I think for now, when we introduce the other three female, would have some good progress with our rabbits. But so far so good. We're happy with what we have been doing. Pick the rabbits when they are quite young, but they have grown into very big mature rabbits. We're exiting out. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and let us know what you think about and what we should do in our next video. Peace out.